The next is the airlift bioreactors. In the airlift bioreactors, the medium of the vessel is divided into two interconnected zones by means of a baffle or a draft tube. In one of the two zones, one of the two zones, which is referred to as the riser, the gas is pumped, and the other zone that receives the gas is a down cover. So what actually happens? One portion receives the gas, and then gas enters into the another portion which receives the gas from the first portion. Okay, so there is a circle kind of thing being generated inside. Airlift bioreactors are commonly used for aerobic bioprocessing technology, and they ensure that the controlled liquid flow in a recycle system by pumping. It's very efficient, and due to its high efficiency, these airlift bioreactors are sometimes preferred in metabolic production, wastewater treatment, and single cell protein production also. Single cell proteins are very important concept for biotechnology. Okay, so the next one is the photobioreactors. Here, the photo word means light. So, these reactors are working on light, are light sensitive. So, which material they will be made up of? Yes, they have to be made up of glass or any kind of transparent plastic. So, these type of fermenters are specialized and specialized to be carried out in sunlight or artificial light. If artificial light is there, uh, it can be used also here, but what actually happens in the artificial lights are a bit expensive, so it is generally used in outdoors functioning, and these big fermenters or bioreactors are kept in outside in the sun, and they are active, they are applicable, used during the sunlight duration only, for the time when the sunlight is there. Okay, so they are operated in a continuous mode at a temperature ranging from 25 to 40. When there will be sun, the temperature range will be this only. Around the globe, somewhere else, anywhere, in a probable temperature in which it functions will be around 25 to 40 degrees centigrade. And this particular temperature range is very good for the growth of algae and cyanobacteria. So these microorganisms can be grown in a photobioreactors because the temperature in which it operates is very feasible for their growth, that is 25 to 40 degrees centigrade. This is important here to note. See, organisms grow during the daytime while the products are formed during the night time. So night after the when the night is there, their products are being formed, and early morning next day the products are taken out, the products are harvested, and then again during the daytime the organisms start working, and then they produce the products at the night. So this is a circle kind of thing going on in this bioreactor. Other kind of bioreactor is the packed bed bioreactors. Here what happens, a bed of solid particles with biocatalyst on or within the matrix of solid are packed in a column which constitute the packed bed bioreactor. The solids here which are used may be porous or non-porous. Non-porous solids, non-porous gels may be porous or non-porous, just like gels. They may be compressible or rigid in nature. Any kind of packing material is used here. The nutrient broth is the culture medium, flows continuously over the biocatalyst, and the products obtained from such a packed bed bioreactor are released into the fluid and removed. Okay, so the product is released as a fluid and then it can be collected easily. The fluid goes upward and downward, although downward flow is more preferred because according to gravity it will ultimately go towards the downside. So when other culture medium properties are maybe semi-solid, porous or non-porous. So when the products are formed and the products are in liquid form, of course they will descend down and can be harvested easily. So for certain kinds of microorganism growth, certain types of nutrient mixtures, certain kind of microbiological experiments, packed bed bioreactors are known, because the name already depicts that it is a packing kind of thing being done over there. The last one is fluidized bed bioreactor. This packed bed bioreactor and fluidized bed bioreactors can be compared with each other, as what was happening there in packed beds, semi-solid or solid particles were used. But here in this kind of fluidized bed bioreactor which I am telling you, it is comparable to bubble column bioreactor, the bubble column bioreactor which we have discussed earlier, except the top position is expanded to reduce the velocity of the flow. It is broader at the top position. The top position is expanded, it is broader. It is designed in such a way that the solids are retained in the reactor while the liquid flows out. Okay, and here, so what can you understand from this? That solids are retained, so the culture medium has to be solid, and the liquids may be the products. The products will be formed in the form of liquid and they can be harvested easily. So these bioreactors carry out reactions involving fluid suspenders, such as using the biocatalyst, such as immobilized enzymes, immobilized cells, and microbial flows. So these are the different types of fermenters which are generally being studied, but the most important one here is a stirred tank bioreactors, because in variety of whole lot of um, microbial activities, industrial production of microorganisms, stirred tank bioreactors are used. So this is the most important one, and you should understand this, compare it and study the diagrams. This diagram is very much important. Whenever a stirred tank reactor is asked, you need to draw this diagram. Okay, because here what is happening, continuous stirring is there. When continuous stirring is there, foam is produced, and then we have an anti-foaming system is here. I told you why continuous stirring is needed, because there should be an equal concentration of substrate of food present for the growth of microorganism. Clear?